Hey peeps! Happy Holy Week. At Youth this week, we talked about the entirety of Holy Week, from Palm Sunday to the Last Supper, the crucifixion, and finally the empty tomb and the resurrection. Easter gives us a chance to learn more about who Jesus really is. So this week we're focusing on how following Jesus can make your life fuller. But first, we've got some decisions to make. I'm going to give you two choices and you have to decide which one you think is better. Hot Cheetos or regular Cheetos? Candy or cookies? Early release or late start to a school day? Water park or roller coasters? Skateboard or bike? Instagram or YouTube? So no matter what you chose, you probably chose it for one reason. You chose something that you thought would make you happier. It's the one that you thought would be more fun. Basically, we all choose things that will make our life better. No matter what the decision is, it always comes back to that same question. Does this make my life better or worse? And it's a great question since we only have one life. It makes sense that we want to get the most out of it. It makes sense that we would want everything we do to make us happier or be exciting or be good for us. Of course, we'd want to choose things that we think make our life better. And for most of us, we approach church and faith in the same way. Is it gonna be any fun? Will I be happier? Is this worth it? Will it make my life better? Now, maybe we don't ask those questions out loud, but we've probably thought them a time or two. And honestly, I understand why. People talk about having faith in God or following Jesus like it makes your life way better. They use words like life-changing or mind-blowing. Even around here, we say that knowing Jesus changes everything. Maybe you've heard someone tell their story of how they started following Jesus and their life changed in a really good way. Or maybe you have a story like that in your own life. And yes, stories like that are great, but maybe, like me, you found yourself wondering, is that really possible? How can following a guy who lived 2,000 years ago change that much about my life? How can a religion with so many rules make my life any more fun or enjoyable? Does faith in God really make your life better? If you're asking questions like these, I want you to know they're not bad questions or wrong. In fact, it's okay to ask. Questions about who Jesus is and what following him really means for us are so important when it comes to our faith. After all, we can't find the answers if we don't ask the questions. That's why we want you to ask. Because here at W Youth, we believe that following Jesus can change your life for the better. And we want you to know and experience that too. So, to get some idea of what this faith stuff is really all about and what can it do for our lives, I want to look back to the time when Jesus was alive walking on earth. So what's cool is that Jesus' followers, they wrote down what they heard Jesus say and what they experienced during his life and ministry. So now, when we wonder what Jesus is like, we can look to their records of his life to find our answers. In his teachings, Jesus often used illustrations or examples that were a part of everyday life at the time. One of those illustrations was about sheep and their shepherd. It was a concept that everyone in that culture understood. People saw shepherds taking care of, protecting, and nurturing their sheep all the time back then. So they knew that it was a shepherd's job to make sure the sheep were safe. So as Jesus was using this illustration, he referred to himself as the good shepherd. So who are his sheep? Us. According to Jesus, that means he takes care of us, moves us to where we need to go, feeds us, helps us rest in safety. It was a nice little word picture that Jesus had going on. Then, right in the middle of his teaching, Jesus made a huge statement. He said, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy." Now, I don't know about you, but for me, kind of feels like a random turn. We were just talking about sheep, and now you're telling me this terrible news about a thief? What is happening? Well, back then, thieves were a problem. It was a real thing that someone might steal or hurt a shepherd's sheep. So this illustration, it made sense to the audience at the time. But again, Jesus was talking about himself as the good shepherd here. And remember, we, his followers, are his sheep. So how is a thief even a part of this conversation? Well, let's look at how Jesus continued. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come so that... ... You see, Jesus was making an important point. He was showing us the difference between himself and the thief. He's saying, this is why a thief shows up, to steal, to kill, to destroy, but I'm going to tell you why I show up. In other words, you know what a thief is, but that's not me. And honestly, I think Jesus knew he needed to say this because so often we don't see Jesus as the good shepherd. Instead, we're tempted to see him more as a thief. When it comes to Jesus, we can be tempted to think that he wants to take something from us. Like, if we follow him, we have to give up our dreams and what we really want in life. But that's not true. Jesus finished with this. He said, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. In other words, Jesus was saying, I didn't come to take away your life. That's what a thief does. And I'm no thief. I have come to make sure you have life, and not just any life, but life to the full. Jesus' goal isn't for us to have less of a life. He wants to give us more life, a better life, a full life. Jesus wants us to have a better, fuller, richer life. Even though Jesus doesn't promise to give us everything we want, he does promise to lead us in a good direction. Jesus promises things like more fun, better relationships, the ability to make wise choices, and what you really want. Jesus helps us discover what is the most important thing of life. Because of Jesus, we can have life to the full. So how can following Jesus make your life better? And don't forget, #Flidge, full life in Jesus. Peace.